Welcome to Girl Get Up Again. This episode is going to be filled with girlfriends. Normally this is a couch for four people, but guess what? We are surrounded by a lot of girlfriends, different topics. Stay tuned and let's learn what it is to be a girlfriend. Welcome back to Girl Get Up Again. Are you ready to see what this whole conversation is about? Growing, rising, having friends? Well, this is the episode for you. Today, I have a room full. Normally, there's only 4 people in here. But now, leave it to me to have a whole room full and inconvenience the great producer that I have that accommodated this wish for me. So I have Perla, I have Maritza, I have Kayla, Amy, Ruth, myself, I have Stephanie, and Barbara Ann. So we're going to get in and dive into a conversation about having a girlfriend, what it is to have this relationship and really be present. We have girlfriends that they're acquaintances. But some of these ladies here, we have longevity. I've known Maritza for 22 years. I've known Barbara since 2015. Mm-hmm. Ruth since 2018. Mm-hmm. Stephanie since 2022. I met Perla on Sunday in person after church. Kayla and Amy, I met them over the phone yesterday, but everybody has been so gracious, y'all. And if you have girlfriends that are willing to give you that hand, lend that hand, and say, I will stay here when others do not show up for their show, their episode, that tells me a lot about the people that I surround myself with. And we were having a conversation off camera, Perla, that you wanted us to bring into the camera, into the recording.
Like, wait, what?
Yeah, I know. You forgot.
I did forget.
I know. We talked about Maritza, how long we've known each other. We talked about how the dynamic is, and there's some friends. She's been here the longest, but I've had friends for a long time that have expired. This is a good episode to talk about friends that we have, new friends, and friends that expire, and how they expire. Why is it that they expire?
Why are you looking at me?
I'm not.
People come into your life either for a reason or a season.
Yes.
And my grandpa, who died of being 107.
Wow.
Okay. My grandpa was so savvy. He used to say, everything that happens for a reason. And even if it was a negative, it brings a positive. Because even a battery has a negative and a positive in one piece. So I think that's what it is. I think it's part of the fact that you either grow together and, build each other, kind of like our dynamics, or you meet someone and they're good for a certain time frame, for a period, and then that's it, because they had a purpose, and that purpose was temporary, but it was only to help you with whether it was a positive or negative, whatever you make out of it.
Yes. And we hope that you learn through that. If you have a relationship that has expired, we really do hope that you learn through that. A lot of times we think, oh man, she's not my friend anymore, but she's been removed because you've outgrown her. You've outgrown that relationship. Some people want to stay stagnant. I don't have room for stagnant people. Don't bring me into your negativity. Don't bring me into all this mess, because I don't want to hear it. Right. And I'm clear about it.
Absolutely.
And
you have to be.
You have to be. And I what I really believe is, if you're going to be a friend, you have to be a true friend. Absolutely. And you have to weather the storm of getting to know that person. Not because you don't like something off the bat. That doesn't mean that's a moment for growth.
Exactly.
Let's learn from it. I've had to learn. I learned from all these ladies. I've learned from Miss Barbara. She has a lot of patience. And she's teaching me in these years to be patient because that's not my strong suit. I'm a hyper Latina that is not.
But for friends, you don't tell friends what they want to hear. You tell friends the truth.
Yeah.
And if you can't be honest and open with that, it's not a friendship to me.
Yeah.
So
Well, we've had our moments.
Well, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, it's the growth.
Yes.
from
Yeah,
that, and
but
then we
we've
learn from it.
because of those moments, we have learned. We're very authentic with one another, and that is what friendship is about.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. You know, I'm authentic. Maritza already knows certain things that I say, and she knows, oh man, I pissed her off, or she's upset, which doesn't necessarily mean I'm pissed off. It just means that, you know what, there's a boundary that I have, and I'm not going to let you cross that boundary.
Yeah.
And then we work through it, you know. And with Ruth, I met Ruth, and we're
Can I share the story?
go ahead. Share the story.
Well, you know what's funny is that we had this seminar, and I was looking for a speaker in real estate to come and speak in reference on real estate and loan officer. So one of my loan officers like, oh my gosh, I've got the perfect person for you. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, you're really going to love her. And I'm like, okay, great. Well, she came in, I met her, and I'm like, whoa, she's too much. And he's looking at me like, really? That's you? And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my mirror. That's what I'm going to be like, you know? But we became really good friends, and we just like, and I saw something that I needed. And I feel like it's that coaching, you know, it's like, it's a double-edged sword, you know? You have to really learn from each other, and relationships are never going to be perfect. One thing that I learned about Janie was that she was like fire. She was like someone that just came in and just motivated me to a whole nother level. Although it's like, I'm looking at her like, oh my gosh, she's really rough, but fun. And like, she's really rough, but really, really energy. And I'm like, that's me. In a good way though. Like, it's like, she comes in like a...
Diamonds were made in the
But,
rough.
There you
but
go.
you know the
gold,
one,
I was going to say that.
But you know the one thing you did not know at that time, and I think I shared it
After,
in my speech.
Yes, that's right.
And I broke down a little bit because I was grieving. I had this happened in I lost my nephew in January,
Yes.
and I went and spoke in May. And I didn't, you know, we talked about grieving at different episodes, and you never know when it's going to hit you. You know, my nephew was like my son, and just.
And that's when when we went out to eat, she told me everything, and I'm like, your stories is who makes you.
Right. Yeah,
it's who builds you. It's supposed to build your character. So you know, when I look at it this way, you know, people that God puts in your life, it's really to make you better. You know, not to sit there and point the negative, because we all have issues.
We all have it.
You know, but what I did was I looked at her. I'm like, I want her in my life. But man, she had this energy, and I'm like,
and even grieving, I had energy. I was like, I always have energy, you know. Like today, this has been. I've been up since 4 again this morning, and I just keep going.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I think is best that I do is I always pray, Lord, who am I supposed to touch today? I don't want to slap them, because sometimes I do, but who am I supposed to touch? Who am I supposed to touch? Exactly. You know, because I want to be an example to someone.
Yes.
I do. You know, before in my 20s, in my 30s, I didn't care.
Yeah.
I didn't care. It was all about me.
Right.
You know, it was all about me, even though I helped people, but it was about me. I was selfish in that way that, you know what, I got it going on. I'm this, I'm that. And then my 40s, you mature more. And your 50s, you kind of go through a different level. And then now I'm in my 60th chapter, and I'm really loving it. I'm really loving it because I can honestly say that
Hey, you're sassy, classy, and
I am sassy, classy, and a bit smart assy, and I'm more than a bit smart assy.
We did that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah. But it works. It works.
But that
you know.
makes you who you are.
That makes me who I am.
Yes,
And
Authentic.
God has made me this way because there's some women, like I said, coming from the hood, the barrio, people don't expect someone like me. They expect someone that is going to be a thug, do this, do that. No, they do. They really do. That's the stereotype that they think. But then they see me and they're like, well, I didn't think she could do this.
You bring hope.
I do
Yeah.
because I don't have a college education, a college degree. I have, but all the real estate classes I've taken to be a broker, I could have gotten my doctorate by now
Yeah.
with all the hours. You know, so I'm here to be a resource.
Yes. Inspiration.
I'm here to inspire. I am here
Motivate.
to motivate, to make sure that I can help you move up to the next level.
Yeah.
I want you, like I told Stephanie, and I tell anyone that I mentor, I want you to make more money than I've made. And if you make more money, that means I've done my job.
Yeah.
That means I've done my job. That's how I want to educate you.
And that's what I remember about her, because that's one thing that I needed. I was looking for someone to just believe in my abilities. And she said, and I still remember to this date, when she said, Ruth, you are, I don't know how she worded it, but she goes, you're going to go somewhere with that personality. Because I came here very, like I said, it was defeated. I was going through a separation and stuff, and we moved here from California. And it's just a lot that had happened. And I was going through already through my marriage. And there's one of those friendships that you will never forget, you know, and then 2020 happened. So I was with this company who made, you know, who helped me grow, but meeting her was one of, throughout the whole process, I became real good friends with 3 realtors, and she was one of them. But she was dynamic. When I say it's like, that's who I wanted.
I was? Ma'am,
Yes.
that's past tense.
Okay, you still are, ma'am. You still are. You're more of a dynamic now. Anyways, but then when I met her, I was like, I like her. It just really, and she was so real and raw, you know. And now these days, you don't want that fake. You want friendships that are real and raw, even if it hurts. It's like, oh, you know. There were times that I'm like, I felt like with Janie, I felt like I needed to be ready for like
You had to go
punches.
like this.
Yes, I was like, whoa, am
It's
I
like
gonna
you get kicked in the ribs.
Yes, exactly.
And
But
you're like, "You all
those
right, though?"
moments, in those moments, you grow because you're like, dang, you needed to hear. And she'd tell me, okay, this was great, but you need to do this, this, and that. And I'm like, okay. And I took it in. I was like, man, I needed to hear that. Then COVID happened, and I left the business where I was at, and I lost touch with a lot of people. And that's when right before COVID, and I got
before
sick,
COVID.
and then I just got in touch with her again. And it's like I said, only 3 people that really empowered me, and I have to say that Janie, because you needed that
Thank you.
sister that
Thank
you know
you.
kept you know, the being sister,
The older
that
sister,
the older
that's
sister
going to kick you
Yes,
in the rear and
yes.
say, get up again, girl.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about that
Exactly.
is that you never know when you're going to meet that person.
Yeah.
You never know.
It comes out of nowhere.
Well, you that's how you and Stephanie
Yeah, it's been
bonded.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
I
it's been
believe maybe
2,
2.
maybe 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
we
And
bonded off of our
I feel
creek.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
They-
feels like you've
you never
known each
know.
other.
There you go.
And I think that's something that's really beautiful how this all tied together, because Janie was my realtor, and out of her being my realtor, like it's funny, right? Because I know Janie and I'm with her like almost every day.
You know me now.
I'm with her every day.
You
Yeah.
know me now. No, back then
Oh.
you didn't know me.
Oh,
You know me now.
Don't be throwing slugs right now. I'm gonna talk really good about you.
Well, all I was saying is
No, yeah.
you didn't know me.
Yeah, I
the
didn't
way
know
They're
you
you.
sisters. We know they're sisters now.
Yeah.
Welcome
Yeah.
to the family.
I really know her now. So I knew her as my realtor, and then I knew her as my boss, and then I knew her as my mentor, but now knowing her as my friend, it's crazy. Like, just being connected to her, I think a lot of people really don't understand her. Like,
Yeah.
yes, she's strong. She's strong, and her personality is very strong, but her heart is very humble
Yeah.
and very soft. Like,
It's genuine.
it's genuine.
It's genuine.
What you see is what you get.
Absolutely.
And it's all around. That's who she is
She's
as
a
a
coach.
person.
Yeah.
And I
She
think
wants the
that
best.
I think a lot of times that Janie's very misunderstood by a lot of people because they don't know the
But
core
see,
of her heart.
That's their problem, because if someone's presence intimidates you, it's not you, it's them.
Exactly.
And them needing to
Yes.
work with.
Yes.
And that's what happens.
And-
Because
and
when
the-
you walk in with power and you walk in with purpose, you command the room.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
everybody else feel however they feel.
Exactly.
And the beauty of her friendship is she accepts you for who you are.
Yes.
She's
Exactly.
only going to polish what she sees.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, from day one, being her assistant, I used to show with sweats and a hoodie and some Nikes, and she just let me go along with her. And
Doña Maria.
I had fun and everything. Like,
Look at you now.
hey, but look, at me
at
now.
you now,
Look, I got my eyeshadow on. What you talking about?
I'm like, girl,
Like-
when did you become a girl?
Yeah.
This morning.
Finally got it, girl.
We
Get
got
back up
it.
again.
Got the highlights
Get up
in and
again.
everything. But it's funny that, you know, us all being. I barely met Amy on Monday night.
She did.
At
She met her
Bible
on
study.
Monday.
Kayla was through one of our girls from Bible study. But I just think it's a beautiful thing. Like, Janie is the core of this connection.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, meeting Miss Barbara, meeting Maritza, meeting Ruth, meeting, you know,
Same,
all
just
of us,
being
all
here
of us
today,
the way
I've
around.
connected with everyone
Yes,
in
and
some
we
type
laughed,
of way.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, it really is, because through Janie, I was introduced to the Women's Council of Realtors.
Your business
And-
grew. It
yeah.
exploded.
And exactly, because at the time that I made a big change, a big impact, was when I actually called her and I said, Janie, here's what I'm planning on doing. Do I have your support? She said, go for it.
I said,
She's-
but
Yeah, I know.
I said, but this is what I need you to do.
Yeah.
A,
And-
B, and C.
Yeah.
And
I
she
love
did it.
that. Yeah.
And when she introduced me to the Women's Council, that's how I met Miss Barbara, because after her term, I was asked to serve again with Tynequa and Charmaine, and we went to do an event at one of the properties you were selling.
Yes.
So
Right.
that's how we.
And through Women's Council, it's Women's Council of Realtors Southwest Dallas County, because I was the president in 2017 and I was president in 2020. And in 2020 is when you came in at that moment and you stepped in with me and went on to the next with the next president.
To the point where now, for 2026, I serve as the treasurer for Collin County, because I was called based off what they had heard from about me.
Well,
So
and a lot of it is knowing your connections, knowing who you have, and utilizing, not using them, because a lot of women will use, but we're gonna see what you have,
Right.
and being in leadership, we see it because we're, I mean, last year I stepped down from a Texas role with the state of Texas, and I stepped down after my husband got ill and had to have surgery. And for me, I've been able to meet people from all over the state of Texas, all over. I have friends that I can say they're my friends because of our connection. And it's connections through organizations that help you. Organizations, all of these organizations are supposed to help you grow to the next level, and you're going to meet dynamic women. You're going to meet women that you say, I don't want you in my life. You're here. I have to deal with you, but I don't want you in my life. I don't. And I'm very clear about that. You're going to feel me when I do not want to be around you.
Yeah, you do. She ain't lying. She ain't lying, y'all. You'll feel the foot on your throat.
And you
But you know what, though?
know when
But
she
listen.
don't want something.
But I will tell you, I've that's happened to me, and you can feel like that. For me, that's a time to reflect and be like, okay, what type of energy am I bringing? Because honestly, let's just be real. There's some people that rub you the wrong, right? You've got friendships that you had to let go and cut out. Some are seasonal, some come back changed, and some is like, whoa, you got worse,
Yeah.
But then in family members, same thing. And what you do is you really, it's supposed to, like I said, grow you.
Yeah.
And if that person is not, they're only looking at you, the problem is them.
Right.
Because, we're all good at pointing, but we don't look internal.
Yeah, but when you do that, there's 3 points.
Yes,
back.
exactly.
Well, and you have
Exactly.
to understand
Yeah.
that there's a lot of growth. When you're going through growth and you see people that have all that toxicity, you can't handle that because your spirit says they got to go.
Yeah.
You got to go get clean. If you want to be around me, go get clean. Come back when you've done the work, because your energy is going to take away from what God is building here.
Yeah.
And the people you surround yourself with is
Yeah.
going to take away from that energy that God is building here. And God is building a lot for me.
Yeah.
My legacy is going to be huge. My whole thing is, I know what my calling is. My calling is I am to fund the kingdom.
Yes.
That's who I am.
Amen.
I've known that for years. For years.
And we
So-
have to all have the same mindset.
Yes.
So we all, we're
Yeah.
learning from each
So
other.
we all know that
not help.
you have your calling. Everyone has their calling, but how are you going to use it? Are you going to use it in a negative way? Because life happens. Life has happened to me, but I'm not going to bring you the bad that's happened. I want the good energy. I want to get up and say, you know what, I'm going to call Maritza today. We're going to laugh. We're going to do this. I don't want to say, oh, I got to call Maritza and she's going to give me all. No, we do. No, and I don't mean that in a, I'm just, because I'm looking at you, so that's why I'm bringing you up. But I'm just saying that that's what I want. I want to be able to do that. But she can also call me and say, Janie, I am going through this. How would you handle it? And vice versa, because because I'm one of the most seasoned one here doesn't mean that I don't need to hear from you guys, and then that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, I think for me, one thing that I value in like a friendship is I'm like, I have to do a heart check, because sometimes I'm like, I need my girlfriend that I can call and be like, am I tripping? Am I overreacting? Like, tell me, because I am going through something, but I need you. So we need the women that we can trust, that we know is going to bring us the wisdom when we're, and the ones that are like, yeah, girl, you're tripping. Like, tell me so that I can reflect, because sometimes when we're in that, we can't really see it, like we're blinded. So we need the women that are not afraid to be authentic, that are not afraid to hurt our feelings.
Because if we take on the role of a child, just think about it. Children are going to tell you how it is, where it is, if they like it, they don't like it. But as adults, as we grow, we grow out of that. We feel like, oh, I'm gonna hurt her feelings. Well, you need to hurt her feelings, because if she matters to you, that's what you need to do.
Absolutely.
Right, and it's like, what is the scripture that's like, if I didn't tell you, I don't love you.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how God is. Like, God will, you were telling me earlier, like, you had to get chastised, right? And God has to, sometimes he has to give us a spanking. But why? Absolutely. Because he loves us and he wants to redirect us, or and that's the beautiful thing in community and in friendships is like a piece of God lives inside of each one of you women, and we can give that to other women, right? You know, it's like the Jesus. I see the Jesus in you. You have a piece of Jesus that maybe I'm going through a certain struggle that you've been through, and you can speak into my life and say, I've been there, but let me tell you about what's going to happen, because I've overcome. You're going to overcome, right?
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
I just felt it's beautiful. It's true.
Yeah,
it is
really
true.
And I really believe the beauty of this is we all have God in our hearts. We all have God. We all are trying to move to the next level and see where he's going to take you. Where does your legacy move, and how do you move with your friends and the people around you? How do you surround, who do you surround yourself with? Because I can tell you who you are with the 5 people you hang out with. I don't want to be around you.
And a funny thing about it is too, if you're in the middle of having the old friends and having new friends, if there's just one that is different and is reaching up, it makes you want to reach up, and then pretty soon you know that, man, I love you, but I gotta let go because God is taking me to another level.
And this is something me and Stephanie were talking about, because I'm new to this. This is me, square one, and I feel like Stephanie's in my life for a reason, and so are you girls. And just a little bit of just being here today, I feel like the connection's there. Having that friendship with, you're on the phone call with somebody and they don't want to tell you something's wrong with them, but you can hear it. You can hear it. And you're like, what's wrong? I know it. Or you can see their face. Or something. Like, just that connection that you can have with your girlfriend is the best thing. And also the judgment free. Because we all go through different lives, but all similar at the same time. And just being able to reach out and be like, hey, this and this, and you don't feel any kind of guilt or you're judging me.
It's been really crazy, because like I said, we bonded off of grief, but even in our group, everybody's like, well, that's my best friend, or she's my best friend, and I was like, well,
but what's the real meaning of that?
What's that?
Of being a best friend or being called a best friend. What does that really mean?
Well, for me right now with her, I don't know exactly like best friend, because of course we've just met each other. But for me, our friendship, I feel like she's my out, or my way to lead me in the right direction. Because since she knows more of God, more of,
She's leading you where you want to go, and you're seeking
That's
God,
what it
and
is.
you're seeking a new way of life to show your
Yes.
daughter.
paving the way.
It's an open door. Yeah.
And not only that, with meeting Stephanie, I've met everyone
Yeah.
else, and everyone, like you said, everyone has the spirit
It's
in them.
community, yeah.
Yes,
That's
it's a
And what I think is really crazy is like a lot of my friends from the past, because life has shifted. A lot of my life has shifted.
All of your life.
All of my life. Like before, like I had a lot of friends. Like everybody wanted to be my friend because I act silly, I cut up, I do dumb stuff all the time. And then when I was married, I had no friends. And then when he died, I still tried to go back, but it didn't feel right anymore.
Yeah.
You know? And then I was stuck. And then I was like, man, well, I don't know. I got to figure this life out, because all of this stuff, right, was like just weighing on me. I'm like, dang, I don't have no friends.
But you do have friends.
But
you
I
just
do.
didn't know
Yeah.
that he was sending you the right
Yeah.
friends.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Because I don't want to just relate on stuff that we can't just be talking about the old days. We need to talk about some future things.
Yes.
We're growing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
growth.
Yeah.
We need to talk about how we're gonna come up. How is life gonna
Yes,
change? What are we
yes.
gonna teach our kids? How are we gonna progress?
Yeah.
Instead of talking about, I can't talk about yesterday and look for tomorrow. I
Yeah.
can't.
Definition of insanity.
And, well, I was insane.
Yeah, she went insane.
Yeah, the thing,
And-
yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, go
No, I was
ahead.
just gonna say the thing about growth is, if you think about it like a plant, you got a seed. If you keep that seed in your hand, it's not gonna do anything, right? But
Yeah.
if you put that seed in the ground, then it's gonna start to do something. But that seed in the ground is gonna need something. So I'm gonna need somebody to water. I'm gonna need somebody to watch it. I'm gonna need somebody to nourish it. I'm gonna need somebody to
Prune it.
take it to the next step. I'm gonna need somebody to prune it. So all of us have our role in the friendship.
Yes, yes.
So that's where it all
I agree.
Yeah.
I love that.
So
we all have different callings.
You got
A
it.
lot of us have
And we-
different,
none
and
of
we
us
put our
have it
strengths
all, but
correct.
we all
I
have
just
our
want you to
individual
know that since you were talking about plants, I'm a bird of paradise. That's just me. So now you know my favorite flower.
Yes, ma'am.
I think that also through my journey that friendships, like the ones that you're supposed to grow with, stay with you.
They do.
The seasonal ones leave. And then God brings new ones in when you're going through something to help you get through it.
Yes.
And that's the one thing I've learned about friendship is that it's okay to let them go.
Yes.
Because God's going to bring more.
Yes.
And someone that will help me get through this time. You know? And then the ones that grow with me are the ones that go, girl, get up. You got
Yes.
this. You
Get
can
up
do this.
again.
You know, like,
Yeah.
okay,
Get
why
up
are you
again.
doing that? You know, and one of my best friends, she's like, what's going on? Like, no, we're gonna get up. We're gonna do this. We're gonna be better. We're gonna work on ourselves, and we're gonna grow. You know, and that's just, you know, that's my growing friend. You know,
Yes,
you have
yes.
those ones, and I think those are the ones that are so important to make sure you do
Yes.
water and
Yes.
plant and
Yeah.
grow with them because they're going through you with you through it all.
Yes, and
You
then
know?
you've got those friends
So-
that they come into your life
Yeah.
and you still don't learn, and God's teaching
Yes,
you
right.
something. Like,
Yes.
So
what
he'll
are you not
remove
getting?
them.
Yes,
He will.
and then they come back,
Yes.
and then they get again.
So
Exactly.
Miss Barbara, Stephanie, Ruth, Amy, Kayla, Maritza, Perla, thank you so much for being a part of this episode. This has given these women out there that are looking for a village, they're looking for friends, they're looking for support, to see that we're all different. But we're all the same. We're all going in the same direction. And that's what you want. You want someone to take you to the next level, to the next direction. So, ladies, it's time to, girl, get up again. You can do it. We just did it. So stay tuned for our next episode, and let's see where we're going next.